Let's make some noise. Come on.
Indeedy, let's make some noise, Nick Foles. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Final Word with MattyB here on the Ep305 Sports Network. It's your boy, MattyB, on the call, and joining me here on a Wednesday night, an impromptu, not scheduled. This was not a scheduled show. It kind of worked out when I was doing the week schedule at the end of last week, earlier into this week. I was not gonna, I didn't think I could do a show on Wednesday, but the way the schedules have worked out, and I'm coming down the home stretch of what I've been into all summer. So this week has been a complete free-for-all, up in the air type of get in where you can fit in type of week. So it worked out that I was able to do this show tonight. And tomorrow night that it is scheduled. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. This is what I'm telling you. So we're going to leave that like a pin in that one. But hopefully I can get in here and knock out that show tomorrow night as well. But it's great to be able to get in here on a Wednesday. Monday night, I was supposed to come in and do a twofer, both the Final Word and the Fighting's Final, but I don't know, I just lost the battle to the old sleep monster. We went about 3 rounds, and he knocked me out, and that was it. I was done. So I do apologize for not getting in here Monday night to do that. It happens. I'm not immune to those problems as well, so I do apologize. But I'm going to try to make up for it tonight, and that's another reason why I'm here on this evening, to kind of sort of, just kind of go out strong. Next week is a really good week here for the program. Hey, what's going on, Elephant? How you doing tonight? As of right now, we are scheduling 5 shows next week. We will return to our 5-show format starting on Sunday night, hopefully going all the way through into next Thursday. We are back. We've made it. I will be done with what I am into on Friday. That's my last day. Another season in the books for me up there, doing what I do all summer long. But it's come with a price this year, and some of you might have noticed already the thing on my right hand. I'm going to talk to you about it in a second, but yeah, as of Friday, I'll be done with what I've been into all summer, so I will be transitioning back to a 5-night-a-week program, hopefully starting on Sunday. So that's some good news to kind of look forward to, but it's great to be able to say that as we've gotten through to another summer. Crazy summer. Another crazy summer. But tonight on the show, we're going to get involved in some talk. We're going to recap what's happening around the Philadelphia sports world. It's been a minute since we've come together in this format to speak. So we're going to recap some of the stories that we're tracking and enjoying and what have you. We're going to do our day in Philadelphia sports history and our card review, all that tonight on the show. So let's have some fun with it. Let's get it going, man. Let's have some fun. Mike Lauro chimes in, my bad, dude, didn't know you were coming on. No, that's okay, Mike. It was not regularly scheduled. It was not on the schedule. I put it out on the socials this morning. If you would check our social media page, obviously you don't, but if you would have seen that. But it's no big deal. Again, it was not a regularly scheduled program. And by the way, I am not hosting the Birds Flyby Friday night. You are. We had this conversation about a month ago, and you said you were coming in ready for that show. So I heard you say earlier that you jump on with me. You're not jumping on with me. You're jumping on. I'm not coming on that show. You're in. Tag. You're it. It's time. Let's go. But if you need me to, I will, of course. But I wasn't planning on it. But if you need me to, I will. But yeah, no. So again, an impromptu show tonight. But that's guys. That's what we do here. And being that I'm the Lord Master of the Ep305 Sports Network, I can do whatever I want to do. I could pull the plug on the whole damn thing tonight. I won't, but I could. So yeah, let's have some fun tonight. We're gonna open the phone lines. We'll do all the great things that we do. So I guess the first thing I want to address is this. All right. Yeah, let's address the appendage on my right hand. So last night, there's no secret. I'm an umpire. I do it at all levels, 12U. All the way up to, hopefully next year, Division I college. So I exclusively work in the summer with 12-year-olds. One of the, if you guys don't know about this, it's Cooperstown Dreams Park up here in central New York. It's in Cooperstown, New York, obviously the home of the Hall of Fame. It's a tournament format that we They host up to about 104 teams a week every week, starting in late May and rolls all the way to the end of August. And we do about, on average, about 7 games a week. 22 fields. I'm a crew chief up there, so I'm in charge of a field and an umpiring crew every week. So you have a lot of fun doing it. Big time money too. A lot of good money to be made if you want to come up to Central New York and work exclusively as an umpire in the summers. I don't want to get into the fees right here on the air, but contact me privately and I'll let you know what some of these guys are getting for these games. But so we're in the last week, and this is not like a normal week. We only have, again, we on average of about 104 teams a week. We're down to like 28 this week. This was a get in while you can type of tournament. And then and I ain't gonna listen. The level of baseball I'm dealing with this week is it's not conducive to the United States of America and our pastime. Let's put it to you that way. It's challenging, but it's fun. I'm a regular up there. I live local. I only live about 45 minutes away, so it's really no skin off my nose to come up there and do one final week. But yesterday, I was behind the plate in the second inning. I'm going to recreate the first 2 innings for me behind the plate. So we had a pitcher on the mound. He was throwing about 60 to 65. Nothing earth-shattering. A pretty decent velocity for a 12-year-old. And he wasn't wild. He was around the strike zone. He was locating pretty good. But the catcher was the problem. So in the first 2 innings, I got hit in the shoulder. I got hit in the left shin twice. I got hit in the chest twice. But you know what? That's just trappings of the job. That's why you wear pads and what have you. So no big deal. Then in the second inning, I took one right to I wear a cage hockey helmet. That's the mask of choice for me. I don't wear an umpire mask. I wear the hockey helmet. I took one right to the cage. I mean, the kid, and I saw it coming in. I saw the catcher not even, he made an attempt, but he never got his glove on it, and it just smacked me flat. Boom, right? But again, still, trappings of the job. I get hit in the face all the time. 2 pitches later, the bullet had my name on it. Same about a belt high fastball, 60, 65 miles an hour. Catcher never even put a glove on it, and it impacted right on my right hand. I mean, flush. And boy, oh boy, oh boy. Ooh, it hurt. So diagnosis later on, I went and got x-rays done. And let's just say that I'm out of action behind the plate for the rest of the year. I'll probably be out of action behind the plate for the next month. But, it is what it is. Again, part of the job, and I'll live. I'm a big boy, but that is why I'm wearing a bandage on my right hand, unfortunately. I took one for the team, so to speak, yesterday. So I just wanted to explain that for you. Yeah. Again, Mike, if you can't, let me know. I'll do it. The hitters, Bobby Abreu and Placido Polanco, were on the Phillies team with the hitter Luis Ariz. The Phillies would win the World Series, no doubt. We mentioned this the other night, Ryan. And again, for those of you that don't remember this, I was running the Luis Ariz train pretty heavy all offseason. I thought the Phillies should have targeted him in the free agency market. I thought they should have went after him. I was all about the DNA change of this team in the offseason. I'm still about the DNA change, and I thought Luis Ariz would be definitely part of the DNA shift in terms of, not spray and pray, but home run or bust versus professional hitting. And I thought he would definitely go a long way in changing the DNA because it wasn't working with the type of hitter we had. So getting him at the trade deadline, I was very happy. And you're right. If we would have been able, and I'll double down on that, if we were able to get a Luis Ariz, say, early in during free agency, right? And then maybe factor that in with picking up a Tyler Ward or Taylor Ward or a player, even an Andrew McCutchen, even in his advanced years, bringing in a hitter like that. If we would have found another professional hitter in free agency to bring here, who knows what this team would be right now? I agree with you. And then this comment about Placido Polanco and Bobby Abreu sandwiched in between Luis Ariz. Yeah, you're right. That would be a formidable hitting machine for the Phillies. So I 100% agree with you. For now on, always your hand behind your back. Never. No, 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 no. So mechanically speaking, you never put your hands behind your back, ever. Listen, my mechanic for where your hands go is totally fine. The problem with me is I get lazy and I forget to go. So what I do is, so I'm not going to get into all this, but first of all, putting your hands behind the back is an improper mechanic for an umpire. Don't ever do that. You're going to show your lack of training there. It's so wrong. They don't want you doing that. Either you lock your hands behind your or off to your sides when you go down, like off to like the side of your ankles or your calves, or you do what I do, and I take my free hand, depending on what hand of the batter is. If say if it's a right hand batter, my free hand would be the hand that's exposed, meaning the hand that's out by him, and I'll tuck it behind my ball bag off to my side. My and that's also my indicator hand. Now my signal hand, which is always your right hand, I put it down in between my legs and I slide it down this way. And using the catcher as another buffer in between me and the batter. But sometimes what happens is I get lazy and I don't put it all the way down and I leave it out and it's exposed. Especially with these kids, you got to go all the way down because you got to get, they're 12, you got to get behind them. So I get lazy. And I took a shot to the arm at the end of last week's tournament that hurt. And I was like, oh, but so I was cognizant early in the game of doing that, of making sure my hand was going all the way down. But obviously, once again, I got lazy. So, yeah, I paid the price for my own laziness. Me too. Oh, yeah, I know you were. Hey, Ricky, what's up? Or buy your cap. I mean, no, that's where they want you to do it. They don't want you to do the whole locking your hands behind your back. They don't want you doing that. It's not very professional. It's not professional looking. Yes, that's exactly what I meant. Not behind your back. I meant by a calf or put it out of the way so it's not exposed. Yes, absolutely. And I didn't do that, man. And I paid the price. But you know what? I'll live. But all right. So let's start this. Let's get this show going. Let's do it as we always do. Let's get it chronological. Well, first of all, let's recap what's happening on the network this week. So tonight, you weren't supposed to have me. You did have Mike earlier on the Fighting's Final. Good job, as always, Mike. And then it was not me tonight, but it's me tomorrow night. And as I said, right now, that show is sort of kind of up in the... I wouldn't say up in the air. It is a go, but there's a slight chance that I may not be here for it, depending on the weather. So just if that does happen, I will post I'll put something out on social media at some point tomorrow afternoon. But if you don't hear anything, then I'm gonna go tomorrow night. On Friday, you're gonna have the Philly Friday Frenzy and the Fighting's Final combo with with Al, and then Mike or me or both of us will be doing the Birds Flyby immediately following Eagles Bengals post game. And then at 8 o'clock on Saturday is the best of the week of It's Rap Sports, and then the Fighting's Final will be back on Saturday evening / early Sunday morning as we are on our way to Anaheim against the Angels. Then on Sunday, we wrap it all around and we do it again. Philly AM Sports returns at 9. I'll be back with the Fighting's Final later on Sunday afternoon, and then later on Sunday night, hopefully the first of 5 episodes of the show next week. So there you have the rest of our week in a glance, and let's get going tonight. Let's strap in, strap on, strap up, keep your head, hands, and feet inside the car at all times. And here you go, your day in Philadelphia sports history. On this day back in 2008, great year, the Phillies completed a crucial comeback victory on this date in a turning point game of their eventual championship season. Down 7-0 in the fourth inning to the first place New York Mets, the Phillies scored 7 unanswered runs of their own, including a 2-out RBI double by Eric Bruntlett in the ninth. Chris Coast then added a walk-off RBI single in the 13th to seal the victory for the Phillies and the position the Phillies atop the NL East for one day anyway. The Mets would immediately take back the lead atop the NL East standings, a lead the Phillies would not reclaim until the very last game of the regular season. I think a lot of people don't remember that. 2008, the eventual World Series year, was not a lockdown. They weren't a juggernaut team all throughout the season. They had their peaks and their valleys, a lot like what's happening this year. I'm not saying that I'm not comparing the two, and I am not saying that we're on our way for a 2008 revival. I'm just saying that there's never a very rarely in baseball do you have a team that runs the show all season long. And the Phillies in '08 had their moments, and they also didn't have their moments. But I am reminded, of course, of the great comeback win on Sunday, and I had the privilege of being on the Titans final for that comeback win against the Cardinals. And what I saw in that game really got me excited about what hopefully what's happening with this team. Now, the winning streak did go to 9 with that win. They lost the first 2 in Seattle, and then a dominating solid win today by Jesus Luzardo powering the way, and then the offense chipped in. They had some, they scored 6 runs in 2 innings and then nothing the rest of the way, but that was enough when you had Luzardo behind you. So they're on their way to Anaheim in an opportunity to really get more comfortable before going to Arizona. This is a tough spot to have a West Coast trip, and this a 9-game West Coast trip. I mean, geez Louise, it reminds me of the old days. Yeah, the old days where they would go to San Francisco, L.A., and San Diego all at once. So this is a tough spot, late August, on the heels of September, to leave your confines for a 9-game West Coast trip. I don't know who the hell set up that schedule, but this is a rough one, and I'm not really expecting the Phillies to come out of this series or this trip 6-3. I really don't. I'll take 5-4, 100%. I just don't want them to lose any ground on this trip. I don't want them to go into a 6-game losing streak on this trip. I'm not expecting 8-1, 9-0. I'm not expecting any of that, or even 7-2, or 6-3. 5-4 is my hopes for this trip. Just kind of maintain what you've gained and don't lose any ground. And again, like I've said over the last couple of weeks, I am 100% on board with this team struggling and not being comfortable down the stretch of the season. I don't care about the division. I don't care what the Braves are doing. I could care less. I want to get in as a wild card, and I want them to have to fight for every inch that they can get in the playoffs, because I firmly believe that that's the only way you're going to get the best from this team. I think they have to be pushed, that they're not able to self-motivate themselves, that they got to feel that heat. They got to feel the pain of potentially being eliminated in order to perform up to their ability. So I really don't care about what's happening with the Braves. I could care less. I know it's a sticking point with a lot of fans out there that we got to win the division. No, you don't. It's not 1987. You can get in as a wild card, and you have the same exact chance to get into the World Series as everybody else. I need this team to feel very uncomfortable going the rest of the season and into the playoffs, and the wild card would be that way for me. Now, coming on the back end of this West Coast trip, and this is another thank you to the schedule makers, you got to host the Braves for a 4-game series coming home. So, I mean, Jesus Christ, man. I mean, that doesn't get any better than that, right? I mean, you come off this West Coast trip, and then you just have an opportunity to catch your breath, and here come the Braves. And an opportunity, if a lot of you are looking at it, and maybe if the chips fall where they may, and it is an opportunity for the Phillies to make some serious ground in the NL East against the Braves during that season, that'll be the talk. That's fine. But I just need them to maintain. And I do need them to go through some adversity. And they went through a little adversity over the last couple nights. Offense just not there. Zach Wheeler is a new little nuance that's popping up, and that's a question I guess I have for everybody out there right now. How concerned are you with Zach Wheeler? How important is Wheeler to this team going down the stretch? I remind you that Wheeler was not part of the stretch run last year, and the Phillies were fine getting to the division championship. But how important is Zach Wheeler? And overall, how important is Zach Wheeler in the playoffs? It's a question that we've talked about for years when it comes to this team's pitching. Now, you got to factor in the resurgence of Aaron Nola. You got to factor in the rejuvenation of Andrew Painter. Is Zach Wheeler still a very important part of what the Phillies are going to need to do? So, yeah, I mean, that's one of the questions I want to know is how you're feeling about the Zach Wheeler situation and what have you. But I'm very happy right now, contented. That's the wrong word. I'm not pissed off anymore about the Phillies. I definitely have seen a change. You know, the Luis Ariz effect, I think, is a real thing. Stott, Bohm have picked it up a bit. They've cooled down a little bit. Trey Turner's now kind of sinking back down again. I get it. Even JT Realmuto, after I sent out an edict, I challenged the man. I said, you know what? I think Stubbs had like a 2-for-3 night, couple games back. Maybe during the Cardinal series. I said, why the hell not just play Stubbs every night? Because you're getting absolutely nothing offensively from JT. Now, JT has stepped it up over the last few games, and it's good to see that. It really is. But, as we get ready for the pennant race in the September call-ups, which is not your grandfather's call-ups anymore, I think they add 2 players to the roster. As we get to that part, and this is, the hors d'oeuvre before the main course, September, and the Phillies have put them in a position, barring a complete collapse down the rest of the way in August, which I don't think is going to happen. I think they're going to finish August probably maybe with the best record by month that they've had all season. They have a chance for that. But they've put themselves in a position, talked about this last week as well, 9 straight seasons now of meaningful September baseball in Philadelphia. And that's something that can't be ignored either. But they put themselves in that position heading down the stretch into September. Exciting baseball, precursor to October, pennant chasing type baseball. And after everything that's been the Phillies this year, the start of the season, the firing of Rob Thompson, not obviously the absolute failure of an offseason because nothing worked out that Dave Dombrowski did. They were able to sort of rebound themselves and put themselves in this position. Again, I know the ultimate goal was a championship, and anything short of that is a failure. And I have not wavered from that, and I still agree with that. But look, just take a step back a few minutes. Just look back a little bit and look at what this team has accomplished over the course of the last 5 months. And, again, I'm the last person in the world because I'd be the biggest hypocrite to tell you that championships that's all that matters to me. And anything short of a championship is, yes, a failure. But, 9 straight relevant Septembers. Yeah, I can't ask for much more than that as a Phillies fan, especially after my lifetime watching this team. But yeah, I mean, I'm contented. I'm contented where the Phillies are. I'm not contented where they're going, but I'm contented of where they are. Elephant says he's not worried about Zach. He'll figure it out. He's not as important as he's been in past years, but he's still important. You still need a good Wheeler. Yeah, but is there something to be said about the fact that we learned to live without Wheeler last year? And that pitching ultimately was not the problem in the Phillies' playoff run. It wasn't. It was friggin' offense, right? I mean, we agree with that. I'm not saying you wouldn't have wanted to have Zach Wheeler, and I'm also not saying that, going into the playoffs with no Wheeler and then hoping that Aaron Nola can continue doing what he's doing. By the way, Nola might be having better. He is pitching better. The home runs are killing me, man. Absolutely killing me. Cal Riley, who has basically struggled the entire season, nothing like he was last year. Kind of started waking up out of his slumber against prior to the Phillies series. Came into the Phillies series and just tore him apart in those first 2 games. But the home runs that Nola's surrendering, whether it be a solo shot, 2-run, 3-run grand slam, I don't care what variety of home run we're talking about. I am getting that is so infuriating that he cannot keep the goddamn baseball in the park. I think he's up to 32 home runs given up this year. 32 for a man making $25 million a year. Hell, I could do better than that. Yes, with a broken hand. I could do better than that. I mean, 32 home runs? That's the type of stuff, that bothers me, especially in October when every pitch matters, every run matters. And you got home run machine Nola dealing. And that scares the living hell out of me. And it's not a nuance. That's the Nola that we've become accustomed to over the last few years. And we had to do it last year. And last year he was actually heading into the playoffs pitching nothing like this. He was struggling all last season, if you remember. We relied on him, Lazaro, Sanchez, Ranger, right? No Wheeler. But this year you might be looking at a group that consists of, if Wheeler can't figure it out, you're looking at the same group, and now you're going to end up replacing basically Ranger for Andrew Painter. And I don't know if that's necessarily the best thing. So I don't know if it's. I'm not worried about Zach. He will figure it out. That to me is a little open ended. I mean, he'll figure it out. I mean, I'm not. It's been 6 starts now. When's he going to figure it out? It's been 6 starts that he's not pitched well. There's something to that. I don't know. I much prefer to have a Zach Wheeler in my rotation heading into the playoffs. Much prefer that. What is Mattingly's infatuation with Trey Turner? A guy has to be moved down in the order. Yeah, I mean, I know Trey's struggling, and I know that's the big thing now. I mean, I guess his infatuation with Trey Turner is the same thing was his infatuation with Kyle Schwarber. MP, let's be honest, man. All right, and I know Kyle Schwarber today for 40 home runs, leads the majors and all that. Congratulations to him. But are you going to sit here and advocate that that Kyle Schwarber should still be batting leadoff? I mean, is it a little hypocritical? And I'm asking honestly. Yes, Trey Turner couldn't hit a beach ball right now. I give you that. But Kyle Schwarber's home run or bust, but there's never a conversation about moving him out of that leadoff spot. I'm not saying wrong. I'm not. But in order to move Trey Turner around, it would, without the ability to move Kyle Schwarber around, it sort of unbalances things. It unbalances things pretty badly. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm also not saying that you're right. I get what you're saying, but I don't think it's as easy as, let's move him down the lineup. No, I don't know how you can do that unless you're going to slide him into the 6 hole or the 5 hole. I don't really know how you do it because there's such a inability to move other players down in the order for either not producing or just not fitting in that spot. So I get what you're saying, but I don't think it's that easy. No, I want to rise leading off. We discussed that. And me too. But again, you're not going to get that. That's the frustration. Yeah, you mentioned the infatuation with Mattingly and Turner. Well, what's the infatuation with the Phillies and Kyle Schwarber leading off? I mean, there's multiple questions here. And I know a lot of people are on Trey Turner right now, and he's deservedly so. But let's have a conversation of why Kyle Schwarber's still leading off before we have a conversation about moving Trey Turner down. I get what you're saying, but we're kind of picking and choosing our battles here. And if you did move Turner down, so what, you would put Turner in the 4 hole and you would put Arise up in the 2 hole because no one else is switching. And you're not going to be able to switch anybody else. Kyle Schwarber's not coming out of the leadoff hole, but we don't talk about that anymore. And I get it. I know where you stand. But it's not as easy, in my opinion, of saying let's move Turner down. Because then, okay, you move Turner down, maybe you move Stott up, or you move Bohm up, and here we go again, back into this crazy cycle of promoting players inside the lineup because they're hot. That doesn't work. If you're a natural born 7-hole hitter and you're performing at the 7-hole hit, if you're a natural 7-hole hitter and you're batting 280, 290 in the 7-hole, you don't deserve a promotion to the 2-hole. You're just doing your job in the 7-hole. This whole idea of being promoted in the lineup because you're hot is, to me, a fundamental baseball faux pas. No, leave your ass down the 7-hole. That's what you are. But it does work a different way when you're demoting somebody. But it's the Phillies lineup is a wonky friggin' Jenga puzzle, man. I don't know. Did I get hit by? I did. I told the story a little earlier before you were here. I got hit by a catcher that doesn't know how to catch. When I mean he didn't touch the ball, he didn't touch it. It just came right in, and I watched it. Boom. And I heard the bones. I heard the bones breaking. Man, it hurt. It still does hurt. And they didn't give me anything for it. Told me to take ibuprofen. What the hell, man? But that's all good. So, Phillies conversation dominating. Are you comfortable right now with them? Do you feel rejuvenated by the Phillies? Are you still skeptical? Um, oh, it is. Oh, it is. It is. But there's the reasons why I'm still rocking an ace bandage and not anything else because I got to last a couple more days. I got to do something for a couple more days, and then I can go. I have a doctor's appointment on Monday to get it taken care of. I'm just hanging on for a few more days. Are you feel comfortable, rejuvenated, skeptical? Are you back in, back out, back in, still out, back in, out, back, whatever? How are you coming? How do you feel about the Phillies as we get ready for a September push? Braves just won. Again, who cares? MP? MP. So I take it. Okay, and maybe that's the second question I'll ask tonight. How important is it you that the Phillies win the division? How important are you out there? Is it to you that the Phillies win this division? Because my argument is this. When they feel comfortable and they coast and they're coasting and they're not being challenged and everything is right there in front of them, I don't think you get the best version of this team. I think this team performs the best when their backs are up against it. When they're feeling the heat, they're feeling the discomfort. I do not want them to win the division. I want them to have to fight. The only reason I want them to win the division is to get home field in round one. Yeah, I mean, whatever. But again, that magical 2022 run. And it was magical. They didn't have home field advantage in any round except for no rounds. They didn't have home field advantage in any of the rounds. And I think that made the CBP advantage that much better. Right? Let's face it. 23, 24, and 25. That home field advantage lost its luster. I'm sorry, it did. It wasn't the same in 25 as it was in 22. The fans became complacent. The fans became expected that they're there and they have home field advantage, right? There was something forced about the home field advantage from the fans aspect in 2025. In 2022, now, you could also cite the fact that it was the first time the Phillies have been in the playoffs since 11? There's probably some of that as well, but in 2022, it was unbridled. It was out of control. It was off the chain. It wasn't like that in 25. It was almost like, the fans and me being one of those fans were sticking our nose up by saying, yeah, okay, we got home field advantage. Yeah. We expect that. I don't want that anymore. I want the hunger to return. I want that ravenous, all for nothing attitude to return. So I don't even want home field advantage. I don't want none of it. None of it. Oh, all right. So let me open up the phone lines. You guys know the drill here. I'm going to release the link inside of your chat rooms. You guys can hop on, be part of the conversation in any way, shape, or form that you want. Video, audio, video only. Well, I need to be able to talk to you still. You have to be able to speak to me, and I have to be able to hear you. But we're going to get the chat. We're going to get the home, phone lines are open. So there you go. Phone lines are open, so hop on. We're talking Phillies. We're also going to talk some Eagles tonight, as the Eagles are preparing to wrap up their preseason. And you wouldn't even know it if you didn't know it, because I guess today was the official, or last night, today, whatever, was the official end of training camp. Now, they have the audacity to still call what they're doing now training camp. It's an insult it's disrespectful to all the players that have come before them that were actually doing training camp. It's an insult to call what the NFL does today training camp. It's not. It's like preseason. I mean, there's nothing uncomfortable, and there's nothing. There's no adversity to what these teams are doing in training camp anymore. And it's sort of a slap in the face to still call it training camp. But the Eagles are done, and they pretty much announced that no starters will play Sunday night or Friday night against the Bengals. Well, not the starters as a group. Maybe one or two will, but the main ones won't. So coming up on September 13th, we're going to get a completely cold version of this Eagle football team against the Commanders, and a not usual season for them. A lot of Eagle fans still think this is just status quo, business as usual. Eagles are hunting for another Super Bowl. I disagree. I think this season's got so many implications on what the future of this franchise will be. And we're going in not only with a new offensive play caller, but with a new offensive philosophy. You know, you guys know that, right? I mean, I feel like I'm the only one who understands this. I feel like I'm the voice in the wilderness when it comes to Sean Mannion and what he represents here. It's not another next up offensive play caller. This is a decision by the front office, by Howie Roseman and company, to switch offensive philosophies by going after a McVay protege, right? The McVay tree protege. This is a beginning of a whole journey that's going to change this team's offensive philosophy. To what, I don't know. But to think that this is just another start to another season, just another usual hunt for another Super Bowl. And, oh, yeah, we're just, Kellen Moore, Sean Desai, or not, was it Sean Desai? I don't even remember which one it was. No, Michael Johnson, who the hell? Who was the offensive coordinator? Oh, Kevin Matula. Just another name we're putting in there. Just another guy. It doesn't matter. He's just there to be the offensive coordinator. That's not what this is. This is a complete shift in offensive philosophy. And yet we're going to go into the season just like we've done it every other year under this boob Sirianni, with not playing any of our starters in the preseason. So we're going to get a completely cold version of this offense and the defense to a certain extent against the Commanders in a game that matters. Does anybody else have problems with that? I'm not saying you play your starters every snap of the preseason. Totally not saying that. But to not give them any reps at all? None? Zero? Zilch? Zippo? And again, the Eagles are not alone. This is the NFL's philosophy now when it comes to preseasons, but the Eagles are entering this season with a lot of question marks offensively and defensively, I guess. More so on the offense. And they have no game speed reps at all to draw from. And we're going to get those game speed reps in games that count. I just don't understand. I don't understand the philosophy with that. And I don't understand the fans' philosophy to accept that. Because you're going to hear it. We know this to be true. The Eagles' first four opponents are what? The Commanders, the Titans, the Bears, and the Rams, correct? Is that the first four opponents of the season? Let me get that. Let me put this up here. Am I right? Was I right? Yes, I am completely right. So it's the Commanders, the Titans, the Bears, and the Rams. These are the first four games that we're going to face in 2026. You know that it's already going to come out. You know the excuses are going to start. It's going to be the number one excuse that's going to be dominating Big Al's Excuse Emporium come mid-September into the latter part of early October, mid-October, whatever, is, well, it's the first four games. They're like the preseason. I hate that excuse. I hate any excuse, but that one burns my ass. How can you accept the fact that you're going to say that in a game that matters? A game that could very well dictate playoff positioning. A game that very well could dictate your spot in the conference or spot in the division. And you're okay with saying, well, you know what? It's the first four games. We treat them like the preseason. No, you treat the preseason like the preseason. And which one of these four games? Because let's be honest, it's going to be one of them that they're going to lose, that they should win, and that they're going to lose, and that's the number one blame game that's the number one excuse we're going to go to. I think right out the gate, that Commanders game is going to be a lot hairier than a lot of people are giving it credit for the Eagles. I do. And that really has nothing to do with the Commanders. Not a thing to do with the Washington Commanders. It may have something to do with a healthy Jaden Daniels, maybe, yes. but it has more to do with the Eagles' decision, again, under a very different type of like off season, to decide to come into the season cold. And I don't like it, man. I don't like it one bit. So which one of these games that they're going to win, that they should win? And let's face it, you look at the Commanders, Titans, Bears, Rams. There's 2 games on here that you could accept loss, right? You can accept them losing to the Bears and Rams. Yeah, they're pretty good teams. Yeah, I can live with that. So that leaves 2 of these games. Which one out of the Commanders, Titans that they lose? Because it's probably going to be one of them. They're going to lose one of those games. And we're going to blame the fact that, it's no big deal. It's no big deal. It's just the extended preseason. Man, if they wanted to have an extended preseason, then they would extend the preseason. So I'm not digging the philosophy. I've never dug the philosophy. Now, again, I'm not telling you to play Jalen Hurts every snap of preseason. No. He should have gotten at least a half in. At least a half's worth of reps with the number 1 offense. And the number 1 offense as a whole should got about a half to sort of run some plays together, man. Just see how it kind of all works out with game speed. So I don't know, man. Stop the home run. Huh? We won today. Oh, you're saying stop hitting home runs. You know what? Yeah, they did. But they were 3 for 12 with runners in scoring position. And when they scored 5 of the 6 runs via the home run. You're right. You're right. Jags are going to be good. The first 5 games going to be less. What? The first 5 games going to be a loss. You say they're going to go 0-5? Star Wars, are you saying they're going to come out the gate 0-5? Let's take a look at that. Man, so if they come out the gate 0-5, boy, I'm going to have a lot of fun with that. But, man, even people jumping off the bridge. 0-5, no. No. Logistically, or realistically, I could probably see them going, what? First 5 games? I think the worst they could possibly do is 3-2. Yeah, 3-2 is the worst they could do in the first 5. They're not going 0-5. 3-2. I'm going to give it 3-2. If that's what you want to go with, I'm going to give them 3-2. I don't have, when we do the Birds Blast preview show, which will be here within the next week or so when we start that, me and Kyle will very briefly go over the schedule. I don't know if we're going to go game by game. I think we're going to do it like kind of how I look at this schedule anyway. I look at the first 13 weeks as sort of like an 8-5 pathway. I don't know how they're going to get to 8-5, but I think they'll be 8-5 when we get to that Seattle game in December. And then it comes down for that Seattle, Houston, and 49er game for me of how the season's going to go. So we'll go over the schedule a little bit. We're not going to go game by game, score by score. But 0-5, man, I ain't buying that. Come on, Star Wars, man. Even I'm not going to say that. That's crazy. That's crazy talk. Also in the NFL today, they've announced that no more Pro Bowl. The Pro Bowl has been officially ganked. Pro Bowl is no more. And I'm upset. I am. And I'm telling you why I'm upset. Not because I was a big fan of flag football. Not because of that. But because I think the NFL screwed up a thing that they didn't have to screw up. Right? What was wrong with the Pro Bowl and the format it was when I was a kid? The week after the Super Bowl, when there's no excuse for you not to play the game because you're one of the Super Bowl finalists. What was wrong with playing it the week after the Super Bowl? You get one more week to milk the whole football situation. One more week. Right? It's an all-star game. It was set out there in Hawaii. Now, again, maybe the downfall of this game was because, once again, growing up, I didn't have much of an avenue to watch other players from other cities. You know, you didn't have cable. You saw whoever the Eagles played in whatever the nationally televised games were week to week. So you didn't get an opportunity to see a lot of these teams and a lot of these players throughout the season. And you looked at it as one more opportunity to see them. But as far as an NFL player goes, I mean, it was like a convention at the end of the season, right? You were rewarded for a great year by getting an all-expense trip paid to Hawaii, hanging out with your friends, hanging out with your teammates, you know, kind of playing football, and getting the reward of having a great season. You brought your family out there. It was a little vacation. Football was an afterthought, and that was fine. And the product on the field to me was okay still. I enjoyed it. I mean, it was another opportunity to watch one more game. Sort of like, to sort of put a ribbon on the season or a bow around the season. I don't know why we had I think the downfall of it came when they decided to put it on the week before the Super Bowl. That's when it all started to come apart. And again, it's led to this. So the Pro Bowl will be no more. And yeah, they've tinkered with, I mean, they tried everything, I guess they could to keep it going, but it's going to end as they voted today, I believe, to pretty much adios it. Are you upset about that? I actually am too. Thank you. No more flag football. No more flag football on the Pro Bowl. No, sir, indeed. Again, I am upset though by it because I remember growing up. It was, again, it probably has everything to do with the way information comes out now, and your access to information. I didn't have access to watch every single game every week. I had access to watch the Eagles play, and then what was the NBC? Who we were linked with? Who? The Steelers, right? That was the local Philadelphia regional thing. Like CBS was the NFC, so it was the Eagles and whoever they played, or a nationally televised, whatever CBS's nationally televised game was at 1 or 4. And then on NBC, it was the Steelers, right? That was who we got as the AFC team. That was our team, right? That was the team that was broadcast or the nationally televised. So other than that, we didn't get, I wasn't watching the San Diego Chargers play at all. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't had an opportunity to see those players play. And even Peyton Manning growing up, which was actually after I kind of grew up, but those types of players, even Joe Montana. Now, Joe Montana and the 49ers were pretty much featured weekly on CBS as the national game, but there were times where, I didn't get to see him play that much. Dan Marino. Didn't see him play at all really growing up because they were never on TV. So maybe that's the reason why the Pro Bowl began to lose its luster, because you could see more of these teams easier, I don't know. When it turned into electric football and nobody wanted to tackle anyone, the Pro Bowl was doomed. Yeah, and that was a big problem too. I agree. You're right. But we kind of overlooked it all, I listen, for football to have an all-star game, that's a tough sell. It's always been a tough sell, right? It's always been tough. First of all, they've been beating each other up for the entire season. If you've made it to the end healthy, you certainly don't want to tear your ACL in Hawaii in the Pro Bowl, right? I get it. I don't know. I'm just an old school kind of guy. And I would look at it differently. And again, it's the generations, I guess, and it's the money involved, the big time money. Kind of like the preseason stuff. We're not going to play our starters because we don't want them to get hurt and lose them for the entire year. But we don't want our guy to go down in the Pro Bowl, and start off the offseason with him on the IR. I get it, but I don't know. Maybe it's just generations and stuff like that and philosophies, I guess. But the Pro Bowl is no more. What are we going to do now? What's the filler between the Super Bowl? What are they going to have on? Are we going to have a weekend of no football before the Super Bowl? Have they come up with that? What's the change? What's the filler game, man? Like, what are we going to do? So what I suggest you do, if you're going to take the Pro Bowl away, you got to add another week of the playoffs. We got to add another round of the playoffs. Expand the playoff field. Make more teams get into the playoffs. You got to do something, man. You got to do something to push out the field here. I need football every weekend until the end. It's going to mess up my flow, man. It's going to mess up my flow. But you know what doesn't mess up my flow? And that's the great program we have here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. We're coming up on the 1 hour into the show. Remind everybody that you are watching the Final Word with MattyB. This is sort of the flagship show of our network. I am the founder of the network, so I am also the only one who does a show every night. Or not every night, but most nights. Every Sunday through Thursday at 10 p.m. Now that I've come to the end of my summer fun, starting this Sunday, we're going to go back to that 5-day thing. And then we're going to run that 5-day thing at 10 o'clock all the way to the end of the Philly season, whenever that is. And then around that time, we're going to switch to our winter hours, which will be Sunday through Thursday at 9 p.m. And then we'll take that all the way into the winter to the start of the next baseball season, whenever that may be. So make sure you're tuned in to the Final Word with MattyB every Sunday through Thursday at 10 p.m. And on Friday night, as I mentioned, we've been going on a rant about the preseason. The Birds Flyby, the official Eagles postgame show here on the network, will be here. Eagles Bengals one last week. I've had the privilege of hosting the first 2 weeks of the Birds Flyby. I was looking quite forward to stepping down. But either myself or Mike Lauro will be in for the Week 3 Eagles-Bengals game, as we'll get the preseason wrapped up and focus all of our attention on Week 1 of the NFL season. And with that being said, make sure you're tuned into the Birds Blast with 94 WIP's Kyle Quinn. Me and Kyle every Thursday, we haven't come up with a time yet, bring you the quintessential Eagles pregame show. Yes, where we'll talk about the game that's coming up and also talk about the game that just was. Me and Kyle have been doing this format for 7 years now. This will be our 7th season together, doing a show like this. It has not been the Birds Blast or titled the Birds Blast over the we've changed titles and names. But this is season 3 of the Birds Blast and season 7 of me and Kyle together. So make sure you're tuned in. More information about the time here soon. I gotta shake his cage and figure out what he wants to do. I'll contact him maybe over the weekend. Give Kyle a call. Also here on the network every Tuesday night at 8. It started again. Season 2 began on Tuesday. The Props, Locks, Parlays program with Mike Lauro and the Out of the Box Sports. No, is that Out of the Box Sports? Paul Spencer hosts that show as well. Every Tuesday, they give you their locks, their props, and I should have got it backwards. Their props, their locks, and their parlays for entertainment purposes only. I just want to put that out there. Make sure that you're tuned in to see those guys. Season 2 is ongoing. It's begun as they started on Tuesday. And starting next week, the Happy Valley Huddle, the quintessential in Penn State football shows, will start on Wednesdays at 8. That's 7. I got to change that. That's Wednesdays at 8. Mike Lauro hosts that program. He'll be here to take you through the 2026 Penn State football season. And, of course, after every Phillies game, you got the Fightins final. And coming soon to a theater near you. That's right, man. Can't believe it's already here. Clear the Ice, the Flyers postgame show. We will be back sometime in mid-September to give our preview show, which is probably going to take about 5 minutes because I don't know what to talk about. I honestly don't know what I'm previewing for the Flyers in 2026-27. I really am left a little bit underwhelmed by the offseason by the Flyers. Extremely underwhelmed. So, but we're going to get the post-game show rolling again, Clear the Ice. September 30th is when they start their regular season against Pittsburgh, I believe. They open up at home. So they'll be back at it, and we'll be back at it here for season 6 or 5. Season 6, I believe, of Clear the Ice. So all the great stuff that's coming September, October. It's a tough month around here. Tough month. No more lollygagging on the shows coming up here, man. I hope everybody got their goddamn summer fun in. They should have a Pro Bowl roast with Nikki Glazer and Jeff Ross. That's not a bad idea. In lieu of the game, have a roast about the season that was. Yeah, that'd be pretty fun. But I want a game. Is there a way to do it? Is there a viable way to have a Pro Bowl? I mean, they've tried about every other option, right? But is there a way? I say there is, man, and they just don't want to do it. And I don't know why they don't want to do it. The money is there. I don't know, man. Mixed results about that. I would love the Pro Bowl to continue. I really, truly would. Yeah, because it's an all-star game. Are you not going to have an all-star game now in the NFL? So it's just an honor. Like I saw where they'll select a Pro Bowl team, but they're not going to have a game. But why do that? Because they already do that for the All Pros, right? Like growing up, getting in the Pro Bowl, because there were players that got in the Pro Bowl, but didn't get selected to the All Pro team, right? Because the Pro Bowl was more of a popularity contest, correct? Is it still going to be that way? And if so, why even have that? Just do the All Pros, or create a third team All Pro team, Team 1, Team 2, and Team 3. Why are we even bothering with a Pro Bowl team selection if there's not going to be a game? Well, I mean, what's the difference between the Pro Bowl team and the All Pro team? I don't understand. I really don't get. If they're going to do away with it, then do away with it all the way. Don't half-ass it. Today is my 20th anniversary, man. I just got. Oh well, congratulations, Dave. Congratulations on your 20th. Better man than me. Special day, I'm sure. Special day, I'm sure. So happy anniversary, Dave. I hope you had fun. I'm having fun. Broken hand and all. But so we are now up to an hour in the program. So the conversation on the table, phone lines are open, by the way, if you want to hop on. But the conversation on the table, Phillies, anything Phillies related. Are you feeling good about the Phillies right now? And not right now as in today, they beat the Mariners and they salvaged the series. But are you feeling good about the Phillies as we head into another meaningful September of baseball? Meaningful September of baseball. 9 straight now. 9. And don't shake a stick at that. That's not a guarantee around here. And again, this is what that complacency breeds, right? It breeds this privilege, this above it all attitude that I think has doomed this team over the last few years in the playoffs. But with 9 straight Septembers of meaningful baseball, there's nothing, because we keep forgetting, it's not that long ago. And honestly, when I was growing up, it was almost every year where this baseball season was over in June, and we were already looking ahead towards football. But now here we are, heading into 9 straight meaningful Septembers. So there's nothing to shake a stick at. Are you feeling good, or are you feeling okay? Are you feeling in, out? Are you feeling like they have a chance to win a World Series as they position themselves for a run here in September? I still don't think they're a World Series team. That hasn't wavered. But what has wavered for me is over the past 9 games during that little run, the way they were winning games. The risk numbers were off the charts throughout that little streak. They were getting runners in creatively. Now, the one thing that has been an issue with this team over the course of the last 11 games, and I don't know if you guys have paid attention to this, the Phillies have not successfully stolen a base in the last 11 games. 0. That's a little concerning. And I don't understand why they're, it sort of contradicts the whole small ball theory that they've been winning with lately. They have not stolen a base successfully in the last 11 games. That's weird. But the last 9 games have opened up a optimism for me about the way this baseball team can play. Because now I'm seeing them do it. And you know what? Come October, those 9 games, if we can get hot like that in October and pull off 9 games like that, we're in good shape. But I am not in for a World Series. I'm not. But I'm definitely, my interest has peaked a little bit because of the way I've seen them play over the past 9 games prior to losing the first 2 in Seattle. And then, of course, the Luisa Rise factor, which, it seems so comical to look back on it now. But every trade deadline, we seem to go through this. Last year, it was the Harrison Bader factor. Remember when Harrison Bader showed up and all of a sudden he switched the DNA of this team around? He really didn't. He got hot, but he didn't really sort of bleed off to the other players. But now we finally have a professional hitter in town who is actually, I think, showing others how to do it, and it's definitely changed some things. And he's been consistent, of course, but it's fun. It's fun, and I don't think, and all the negativity that I'm going to give Dave Dombrowski, and it's owed and it's deserved. You got to pat him on the back on this one. Granted, he should have did it in November, but better late than never, I guess. A guy like Justin Jefferson makes $2 million per game. Pro Bowl pays $96,000. That could be a part of it. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Listen, I'm not saying I'm upset that it's gone. I'm just saying, I mean, they've tried everything. But for the NFL as a product, they're taking money out of their pocket now by not even trying to do something else. Even the flag football thing, which was a joke. Even what was it, Team Dion versus Team, what was that? A couple years ago with the Nick Foles year, the one, the little opening that I had when he won the Pro Bowl MVP. Well, that was a long time ago. That was like what, 2012 or something like that. But when they had the team, Deion Sanders and Jerry Rice were the coaches, or Michael Irving or something like that. I mean, they just something. I don't know. I guess the gimmicks are not working anymore. We've watched the Phillies for 5 months, and nobody can predict how they'll play game to game, let alone the playoffs. Listen, we can't predict it. Well, you know what? I disagree. I disagree with that conversation, with that statement. Because what's been the so you're telling me heading into 2020, all right, heading into 2024 against the Mets, maybe not predicting game by game, pitch by pitch, yes, but looking at the team the way they were and what they were doing and what they were not doing, you can get a good idea of how the playoffs are going to be. The offense was stagnant in 2024 and 2025. It didn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that they were going to struggle offensively. Okay? That's my thing. You're 100% correct. Nobody can say with 100% certainty, hey, this is what's going to happen in the playoffs. You're right, but you can look at the body of work and you can pull out a good percentage of what you think is going to happen. And that's been a problem with this team. And there's the lack of creativity, the lack of fundamental offense has been an issue. And it's come back to bite him in the ass over the course of the last three postseasons. So as we get ready, for potentially another playoff run, to me, there's something different about this. There's something different about the way the offense has been since the arrival of Luis Ariz. There's something fundamentally DNA different about this offense, something I've been crying for months. They needed to change the DNA of this team. They needed to change what the approach was offensively for this team, because the home run approach was the same thing for Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper, as it was for Alec Bowman, Bryson Stott. These guys were going up and trying to be the same way, and it's just not right. And I think his arrival here has shown other players, has shown Bryson Stott that you can be productive in this league and not hit home runs. Right? If you're not a home run hitter, you're not a home run hitter, but that doesn't end your career. You just got to find a way to get on base and produce other ways. And I honestly believe that's part of what the issue is now. Kevin Long, what's he been doing? I don't know. We can debate the role of the hitting coach and all this. And why the hell did it take Luis Ariz to change everybody's opinion? I don't, we can debate that. But the past 9 games, since the Field of Dreams game, things to me have been different about how this team has approached things offensively. Just has. And that's the most encouraging part about the Phillies entering this stretch for me. Not that it's going to yield a World Series championship. I still don't think they're good enough for that. I don't. I still don't think that. But if the offense can just be 10% better than it was last year in the playoffs, they're moving on to the second round. Right? But, I mean, I think they batted in the playoffs last year against the Dodgers. They were like 207 with runners in scoring position through that series. Just really bad, just bad fundamental baseball. And that's what's the most encouraging part of what I'm seeing from the Phillies right now is just that approach is different. It's not about hitting the ball over the wall. It's about hitting the ball to the opposite field. It's about pulling the ball over so that somebody can get from second to third. It's about hitting a sac fly to score somebody. It's about laying down a bunt. Now, granted, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. I really haven't seen him lay down many bunts, but it's about situational hitting. Brian De La Cruz the other day in that game against the Cardinals. De La Cruz is I guess a power hitter, right? You would consider him, but he got the game tied with a seeing eye single between second and third. And I loved every second of it, man. I loved every friggin' second of it. So, I mean, that's what I'm seeing from the Phillies right now that's so encouraging. Is that going to blossom into any kind of productive fruit? I don't know. We'll see. But we're going to have a great September of baseball to kind of look at that. But yeah, so I'm excited about that. I'm not excited about the Eagles' approach to this preseason. I'm not excited about them calling this thing training camp, and I am very concerned about the start of the season. But I'm excited about the season too. It's about time football get here. And college football starts this weekend, so we're right there, man. We're right in the window. So it's a great time to be alive. All right, so let's move to our final segment of the show. Our card review. This is my fun time. So here we go. Roll the music. So before we do the actual featured card, I do want to bring up a honorable mention card tonight. I have two cards to talk about tonight. Of course, LeBron James signing here in town. Big news. But just like they got the jerseys out going within, 24 hours after he signed here? Well, the sports card companies didn't waste any time either. Topps now put out a card within days of the signing of LeBron James, featuring him in a Sixers uniform, maybe celebrating more of his 24th year in the NBA than his arrival in Philadelphia. But it's a pretty cool looking card, and I have it right here. Let me put it up there on the camera. There it is. They already have him. Is it official? Is he going to wear 23? I mean, because I've seen jerseys now that's all they have on them is 23. So anyway, I just wanted to bring this up. This is the LeBron James card from Topps now, 26-27 version. In a Sixers uniform. So pretty cool looking card. Keepsake, memorabilia type thing. I don't think it's worth like $10 right now, but a pretty cool card. So on to our featured card of the night. And this is 2026 Topps. We're back in the digital age. One of the, I guess, young faces of baseball right now. He burst onto the scene, I think last year was his rookie year. And what a way to really kind of cap off his rookie season with his performance in the World Series. World Series MVP, catalyst in helping the Dodgers win their second straight. And a very, these are the cards out there that if you can get your hands on them, you got to get your hands on these cards because he's definitely right now a very hot topic and a very hot commodity in baseball. And I'm speaking of the young, talented Japanese pitcher for the Los Angeles Dodgers, and Yoshimo Yamamoto. And this is his 2026 Series 2 Topps Stars of Major League Baseball insert card. Card number SMLB 43. These are basically the format of all the SMLB cards of Topps this year. They kind of have this refractor. They're not refractors or foils, but they all are kind of. They went with that style for all the inserts this year for SMLBs. And This Yamamoto card is actually, I think it's a pretty slick looking design. Very rarely, I don't know if you guys noticed this, when you're dealing with insert cards of any kind, very rarely do they put players in their road uniforms. It's an odd thing. They always seem to have players in insert cards in their home uniforms. To see an insert card pop up featuring a player's road jerseys just kind of catches my eye. And this is a sleek looking card. Again, I love the design of what they decided to do with it this year. This card currently ungraded is about $2. But as a PSA 8, it's already sold for $6. PSA 9, it's sold for $12. PSA 9.5, it's already sold for $24. And right now, at a PSA 10, this card has already moved for $40. So that's very, 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 very encouraging for a card from 2026 Series 2, an insert card. Insert cards are not necessarily that valuable, and this one is. But again, it's the player. It is the player involved, and he is, again, the 2025 World Series MVP. Big-time catalyst in helping the Dodgers win, and good young pitcher to boot. And that's our card review of the night of Yamamoto, and here it is in its physical form right here. I got it right there. It's a pretty card. A little shiny, silvery. But, again, I love the fact that they're featuring him in his road uniform. There you have it. Card of the night. Yamamoto and his SMLB, his insert card from 2026. Topps Series 2. And that is your card review of the night. And we are kind of rocketing towards the end point of the show. Phillies in a good spot heading to Anaheim over the weekend. Tough series, tough trip to go on. A 9-game West Coast trip at the end of August. And then you got the Braves coming in at the beginning of September. It's very tough spot for the Phillies. 5-4 is all I'm hoping for in this trip. I just don't want them to lose any ground. I don't care about the division. I don't know why. This is such a really like lightning rod point with Phillies fans. It seems to be division or bust. I don't care about the division. I'm feeling pretty good about the Phillies right now. I'm feeling good about the direction the team is heading offensively. Obviously, the starting pitching is starting to kind of offset itself. You know, you're getting production from Aaron Nola, even though he's given up home runs consistently. You're getting the resurgence from Andrew Painter. The consistency, and I didn't even really talk about Luzardo today. I mean, he pitched, one hitter through 7, was pretty much dominant in today's game against the Mariners. So you're getting consistent performances out of him. We got from Sanchez, and then you get the situation of dealing with Zach Wheeler, which is a situation that needs to be kept an eye on. 6 now, less than stellar starts from Wheeler. Is there a major concern? I had a very, I guess one person was concerned about it. No one else really chimed in about it. An Elephant said he wasn't necessarily concerned about it. He said, I think Wheeler will figure it out. I kind of agree with that. But the offensive approach, and it's always, for me, been about the offense. It's always been about the offense, because with this team, if they are in a position and if they're clicking on all offensive cylinders, they certainly have enough pitching, even with problems with Zach Wheeler, because we saw it last year. They were able to get division championship and fight the Dodgers tooth and nail all throughout the playoffs without Zach Wheeler even on the team. So I still think offensively is where the secret to this team lies, and what they do at the plate is going to be whether or not the Phillies win a World Series, and that hasn't changed for me. Eagles season will start here in a couple weeks. They'll finish up their preseason, or I should call it what it is. They'll finish up the tryouts for the second, third, and fourth stringers on Friday night. No starters will play, or at least none of the ones that we want to see will play. And I think there's still a bunch of question marks heading into the season. I don't know what was achieved during this preseason. What progress was made? I guess we'll wait and see it on week 1. We'll see what this team looks like and how they react. The Pro Bowl is no more, folks. And we did our card of the night. So, productive show on an impromptu show night. I wasn't supposed to be here tonight, but I hopped in and knocked out a show. Tomorrow night, we are looking to be back, but There might be an extenuating circumstance involved. I'll keep you guys posted. Here is the schedule for the rest of the week once again. It's up on all of our socials if you want to check it out. Make sure that you're tuning in for all the greatness. And I don't think I even talk. Oh, I didn't even talk about Big Al. Big Al will be back on Friday night with his Philly Friday Frenzy and Fighting's Final combo show. I don't think he'll be coming on at 9. The Phillies game doesn't start up there until I think 10. So he'll probably show up around 11, 11:30. So be on the lookout for that. Probably be a little bit later for Big Al as he'll get ready for his show, because he's going to do a twofer. So make sure you're appropriately adjusting your times. And all the other great stuff that we talked about tonight on the show. That's coming up. Getting into that great time of the year. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday night. And hopefully we'll see each other tomorrow. If I do not see you tomorrow on the Final Word, I will see you again on Saturday night when I host the Fighting's Final. But we are through the looking glass. I am done. Friday is my last day of doing what I have to do that has taken up so much of my time this summer. After Friday, it's into the off season for me as an umpire. Well, not really. I got a few things to do, but nothing as time consuming as I just went through. So we will, with all intents and purposes, get back to a 5-night-a-week show format starting on Sunday. So we're looking forward to that here on the program. Get back into some of our old ways. We're going to start also here very shortly, probably next week, bringing back the Of the Night segment, because we're getting into that point where we got to start talking about the Flyers. I got to start previewing what the hell this roster is going to look like and some of the players that we're going to associate with for the Flyers in 26-27. So that'll probably start next week, as we'll start the Of the Night, the Flyers Spotlight segment, as we get you ready for the start of the Flyers season. I can't believe it's already here. So until we talk again, hopefully it's tomorrow night. But if we don't see each other until Saturday, you guys have a great rest of your week, great start to your weekend, whatever. If not, I'll see you tomorrow night. Take care and good night.